Hello Gemini, and welcome to your January 2024 reading. And because these readings are so late, I am going to extend the time frame for this reading into February, so the next 4 to 5 weeks. We're kind of looking ahead here. So let's go ahead and get started for Gemini, starting with a card from my intuitive deck here. Okay. Kind of the word convergence was the first word that came to my mind, where things are converging. Now, this probably is not a super obvious kind of thing, but it might be that certain pieces of the puzzle are starting to fall together. You might be aligning with the right people. You might be, getting the right phone calls. The right clients are showing up. Maybe, you're just meeting better people. I don't know, whatever the case is, but there is something that is coming into alignment for you right now. And it might be one of those moments where it kind of reaffirms your faith, reaffirms like, oh, maybe law of attraction is real. Maybe manifestation is real. Maybe I really am kind of in this good place. It kind of has that validating effect. And while I'm not necessarily seeing, this is only one card, so we'll see what else comes out. But with this one card, I'm not seeing anything huge coming through. It just kind of feels like it's easy, things are working, things are going. There's not a lot of obstacles. And when I say not a lot of obstacles, I'm not saying things are not necessarily difficult or challenging. It's just you can tackle those things and not have to confront a lot of the internal stuff, the insecurities, the doubts, the fears. It's more just, okay, here's a problem and we'll solve it. Here's a problem, here's an issue, we'll figure it out. And you just do. I don't see Gemini getting so overwhelmed by things. Even if you have a lot going on, even if you have a lot of demands, I don't see you getting overwhelmed, which is good. So let's go ahead and see what else comes out with the moon card before we get into the tarot cards. So for Gemini, nothing is, okay, I love this card. Nothing is set in stone or yet set in stone. It means there's a lot of malleability, and this is a mutable moon. You're obviously a mutable sign. So there is that flexibility with the way that things are going. It is going to be important for you to make sure you make choices that make sense for you, when you're not self-sacrificing too much or you're not prioritizing another person's needs we can still take care of the people we love, obviously, but we don't want to completely sacrifice what we need for the sake of someone else, at least not entirely, especially not right now with that North Node in Aries. We really want to make sure that we are somewhat prioritizing what's best for us, because ultimately and usually what's best for us is also best for the people that we love too. So as you are going about your daily life, there's this convergence, right? As things are converging and things are falling into place, it's going to make a lot of sense for you to kind of pounce on those things, take advantage of those moments, jump on it, get working on it, whatever the case may be, because it's aligned with the type of story that you want to write for yourself. Because you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to jump on board. You don't have to take advantage of opportunities. You don't have, right? Obviously, you have a choice, right? You don't have to, but that's going to write a completely different story. So the real question is what story do you want to be written? What story do you want to live? And which choices make the most sense for that story? Okay, and that should keep things simple. It should keep things easy. Yes or no? Does this align with the story I want with my life or not? I say it's simple. It doesn't mean you may not have to make some hard choices or have some hard conversations, but theoretically, it's simple. Because when you know, when it aligns, when it doesn't, it doesn't. And it does seem to be very black and white. High contrast here, okay? All right, Gemini, starting with the tarot cards, what is it that you need to know for January? 8 of Coins. Eight of Coins coming out quite a bit. I love it, especially with Mars in Capricorn. It does give me really strong Mars in Capricorn vibes. It's just going to work. That's the thing I love about the Eight of Coins. It's not complicated. You have your talent and your skill, you apply it in some way, you produce something, and that production of that thing enhances your life. Whether monetarily, whether just in terms of satisfaction and fulfillment, whether it's creating a better lifestyle for yourself, whatever the case is, it's very clear cut, very cut and dry. This is what I mean by there's no obstacles, there's no challenges. It's just, it's obvious what needs to be done. It's obvious the direction that you need to go. And if you are hesitant and you are in a state of confusion, it's possible, I'm not going to project this onto everyone, but you may want to consider that if you are feeling really confused about what steps to take, that you might not necessarily be being entirely honest with yourself about what you want. Or you're prioritizing someone or something else. You don't want to let someone else down, right? You don't want to disappoint, or you're afraid what other people will think or something like that, okay? Because when I look at this Page of Coins, it's really just a day-to-day type of an issue. Today you wake up, today you make the right choices that make sense for you today, and that's it. As much as I love Capricorn in terms of building high-quality platforms for the future, you have to remember that Capricorn is in some way foundational in order for that structure to be erected. So you have to have that strong foundation, and the strong foundation really does lie in the day-to-day choices and the day-to-day habits. And the more and more you're in that Eight of Coins, productivity, get it done, focus kind of place, the stronger that foundation gets, the more complete projects become, and the more you can build upon those projects. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's all very obvious. It's just sometimes we need to get more in that zone. And I think right now we need to be in that zone, especially for you, Gemini, having Jupiter in that 12th house. Jupiter in the 12th and also 11th houses, I've found, really makes us feel like we're detaching from things, makes us feel like we are pulling away from an old life, but we haven't quite necessarily landed yet. Plus, we also have Pluto coming into Aquarius, which obviously is a huge deal. So we have these energies of change, but that's why I think you need to be a little bit more concrete in what you want, because it's not set in stone yet. Like where you currently are in this moment, this is not locked in forever. That where you are now has a lot of potential to morph and evolve. And the way you get it to morph and evolve is through day-to-day basic things that are not necessarily very sexy, not necessarily very exciting, right? Because I look at this moon reverse. Sometimes that moon reverse can be, or not, if the moon is upright, sometimes there can be an element of disillusionment. But when it's reversed, it feels like the opposite of disillusionment. Now, you may still have to confront fears and insecurities and stuff, and I think that's pretty common whenever we're in a transition mode. We do tend to have to, tap into different parts of us, different aspects of our personality, that type of thing. That's all perfectly normal. But it's not like you should be thinking, oh, it's impossible for me. It's too big of a dream. I don't think the dreams that you have are that far out of reach. I think they're perfectly plausible, perfectly possible for you, Gemini. There are going to be some unexpected, I'm kind of feeling the unexpected things, but that can be really cool with this convergence energy. Unexpected things, unexpected people, unexpected opportunities, unexpected conversations, unexpected emails, all that type of stuff can really come through with that moon reverse. To me, there does seem to be an air of can I say magic? It feels kind of magical to me, as long as you're not trying to lock everything in and control. This is not a card of control. Okay, this is a card of flow, which you're still doing things, but you're not like forcing yourself into things, right? It's a flow state. And when you're in that flow state, that's really when a lot of magical and miraculous things can happen. And the convergence of things coming together, and this is what I mean by getting validated, validating your belief in law of attraction or manifestation or any of those things. Like, wow, here you are. There's a lot of gravity to this. It makes sense that you may be pulling things to you because you've got a lot of motion going on, right? When something spins faster and faster and faster, it kind of pulls things in. So it makes sense that you're attracting right now. 9 of Wands. Okay. Hold on, take the bottom card there. Okay, yeah, the 9 of Wands immediately as I saw that card, as soon as it came out, I was like, okay, Gemini needs to be protective. This is a strong message of boundaries and making sure that you don't let just anybody into this process. Okay, this 8 of Coins is a really private process for the most part. Because this is like you sitting in your office and doing stuff is really what it is. You sitting in your den at your house or sitting in your bedroom or in your workshop or your studio or whatever. This is like you in your special place doing things. And this is a sacred space. It may not be actual space, okay? It may be a sacred task, okay? But there is something sacred about it, and it does need to be protected. And I'm not liking the reversals on either of these. The Knight of Cups feels like someone who really struggles with boundaries, which means you may need to reaffirm boundaries even that much more. Chances are these are not things that you are wanting to align with. Queen of Wands feels a little selfish to me. So this one is an issue with boundaries. This one feels a little selfish. And these are maybe temptations. Maybe these are people in your life that have a lot of demands. Maybe they rely upon you, whatever the case is. And I'm not saying to abandon people, obviously. And I'm not saying everyone in your life is toxic. It's just that these are countering the 8 of Coins energy. They're not, congruent with it. They just simply feel opposite and draining. It feels very draining. It feels like maybe you need to justify yourself to someone, or you need to explain, or you need to defend yourself. But you don't really have to, but maybe there's certain relationships, right? Siblings, friends, family members, spouses, whatever the case is, they may not necessarily like to know, well, you've got this 8 of Coins thing going on and they're not necessarily a part of it. I'm I don't like these two stacked on top of each other. For some reason, it's rubbing me the wrong way, but I can't quite put my finger on why. And I'm also kind of looking at the water in this card. It feels a little tumultuous. Now, to be honest, okay, we do have Uranus stationing direct. We have Pluto moving into Aquarius. For you, you've got a lot of 8th house energy. We've got Mars and Mercury in the 8th house. Venus is going to be making her way into the 8th house as well. So it is 8th house is a challenge. Sun conjunct Pluto is a challenge as well. And just so you guys know, just FYI, astrologically, this is the very last time that the sun will come into a conjunction in Capricorn ever in your lifetime. The very last time. So it truly is the end of an era. But I think a lot of people are trying to Remember, I was like, this is not about control. Maybe that's what this is bothering me, because that Queen of Wands feels like she's trying to control something. trying to control or trying to force a specific outcome. Now, sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that works, but I don't know that that's going to vibe very well with what Gemini has going on. And this is a card of Aries. Now, you may not be dealing with an Aries. This could be any zodiac sign at all. But sometimes because of that Arian connection, if it manifests in a sour way, it can be a little bit on that selfish side. It can be a little self-involved or self-focused. And, again, that's going to counter with your own self-interest stuff. And so with the 8th house activation, Mars, Mercury, and Venus in Capricorn, it does tell me that there's a big transformation going on, and there's a lot of identity shift that happens in the 8th house, right? When we talk about transformation, quote unquote, or metamorphosis in the 8th house, usually that requires humility and being open to becoming someone else. It's like different aspects of you blooming outward is really what that 8th house is, and it can be a really hard process. And this is the way, 8 of coins with the page of coins, that day by day, this is how that happens. It's boring and very unsexy, I know, and I'm going to keep saying that over and over because I know it is. It's not exciting. It's probably not something you have a ton of passion for, but it also needs to get done. And, the Queen of Wands, I kind of feel is throwing a little temper tantrum. She's really bugging me for some reason. We'll see what the clarifiers have to say about her, but she's really driving me crazy. And the Knight of Cups, too, like I say, the lack of boundaries. Someone who is either not very self-aware. I don't think either have any harm toward you or anything. I'm not seeing anything malicious. It's just, whoa, these are people that you do need to protect your 8 of coins from. I wouldn't share a lot about what that 8 of coins is. This is going to be one of those times where you just, you just kind of keep it to yourself until it's done or until it reaches a certain point, and then you can start sharing it openly. 6 of Swords. And last but not least, this whole row. I'm going to start actually over here because this whole row column is bugging me. So this Queen of Wands, I'm kind of feeling like that Queen of Wands might be talking a big game. You have to be careful about getting sucked in to someone else's story. This really needs to be about your story, Gemini. Okay, really, really, truly. And just FYI, later this year, late May, as we enter Gemini season, so around the time of your, solar returns, if you're watching for your Gemini sun anyway, Jupiter is going to come into your sign. So there's this whole big new 12-year cycle for Gemini starting in late May, early June. And between now and then, you don't want to get sidetracked or pulled away or get caught up in someone else's something, because then it's like, oh man, I could have been doing this the whole time. Because there seems to be something really unstable about this, and I don't like the Ace of Coins reverse because maybe it feels a little bit like empty promises or a kind of a bait and switch, like someone making promises and then kind of switching the game or changing the rules or something. It just feels so counterproductive and feels so against what could be going on up here. This really is where the focus needs to be. This is not Gemini specific, by the way. This 8 of Coins has been coming out quite a bit in the readings. So I think it's just kind of across the board focusing on that level of productivity. Because look, even 10 of Cups, I think that's really where your heart wants to be. It's where the joy is. And even though it may not be the most exciting stuff, I think because it is aligned with the dream, because it's aligned with what you want and it's aligned with your manifestation, of course you want to be doing it. Even if there is some kind of heavy labor, and even if it is you kind of just sending out emails or sitting down and writing it or planning stuff or building a website or whatever the case is, it's for something. It has meaning. It has purpose for you. And that's really what matters. It's the alignment that matters. And you probably will have an experience that tries to completely derail you, but the more powerful and self-possessed you are, the less likely that is to actually happen. Okay, and I look at the Six of Swords, and I often say this is my card of spiritual evolution, right? This is where we kind of slowly evolve and we do change. And it does seem that you are drifting away from certain relationships in your life. And having, by the way, North Node Chiron conjunction in your 11th house, which does have a lot to do with friendships, and not only friendships, but also professional networks, maybe even political beliefs. Maybe there's some type of a club or association that you belong to, some sort of social group, whatever the case is. It is maybe there's a big change going on there. Maybe the people around you are not conducive to what you're seeking. And I think it is important for Gemini to think about what they want for the next 12 years, to think about their next decade ahead as Jupiter comes in and starts that evolutionary cycle again. I think it is important. And I think it'd be beneficial for you. How do you want to expand over the next 10 to 12 years? How do you want to grow? What do you want to learn? And while you can't plan everything, you can have some semblance of structure, and you can get started now. Capricorn season, very supportive of structure. Okay? So let's go ahead and pull out the clarifiers and see what else comes out. So for those of you who are new, the cards I'm about to pull out are the cards we will cover in the comprehensive reading. We usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards. So if you want to join, the info is in the description box and the comment thread down below. So we're going to start with the Eight of Coins, Five of Swords, Knight of Coins, Four of Swords. King of Cups here. Oh, I love that. That page coming out kind of like a powerhouse. Seven of Coins. Now for the Moon. Five of Coins, another Six of Swords. Okay, I didn't originally link those two together, but they do seem linked. Two of Wands. Nine of Wands and Seven of Wands. A lot of like that protective energy there. Okay, I didn't mean to pull out two, but that's okay. 9 and 10 of Coins. Okay, we'll give you both. Those are really good cards. Definitely give you both there. And for the Knight, Page of Coins, the Emperor. Yeah, there's the leaving. You do seem to be leaving. Yeah, I knew that Queen of Wands was weird. I knew it. The Devil, 10 of Swords. See what I mean? She was not giving me good vibes at all. And the Tower. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's a lot. That's definitely a lot. Okay, Queen of Wands. A different kind of Queen of Wands. Empress, Seven of Cups reversed, and Five of Cups. Gemini, I think you're going to be needing to make some big choices here. Three of Coins, High Priestess, King of Coins reversed. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. So if you want to join, you are absolutely more than welcome. Have an amazing next 4 or 5 weeks, you guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.